All right, welcome back to K24 this morning. We do have a special coverage this particular Wednesday. My name is Shiko Kaitani and we're coming to you live from Nairobi, Serena, as we talk all matters career. This, obviously, by public demand. Obviously, the text messages have been streaming in every single time we talk about careers in studio. And so today, we decided to scale it up and bring you the right panelists to answer some of your questions. If you are a student trying to navigate those murky waters of understanding, where do I go next? What do I do with my life? Well, we're here for you and we've got the team for you, and as well for you if you are a professional hoping to at least make that career switch. There's a thing or two that you might learn this morning. And so I want to ask you to start engaging us through our social media platforms. Remember, you can catch us as at K24 TV on Facebook, Twitter, as well as Instagram. Our WhatsApp number is at the bottom of your screen, and of course I'm not going to be doing this alone. My co-host Paul Ngalambuvi is in the house and will be sampling some of your text messages as well as your questions shortly. As we begin, I would like to start by welcoming our very special panelists today. I will start off with Professor Catherine Gashudha, who is a counseling psychologist and educationist with us today. She will be saying hi in just a moment. Shaheen Dar is a familiar face on K24. She is the head of career guidance at Cradle, as well as Manish Sardana, who is the founder and CEO of Cradle. Ekran Dungu, a career coach and the Secretary General of the Kenya National Association of Private Colleges, is here with us. We also do want to welcome David Ongonya, who is the Country Manager of ABMA Education UK. Also, we do want to recognize our very special guest today. This is Jamo Oyulemuse, who is also a comedian, and will be talking to us a little bit about his story in terms of the arts as well as comedy. We also do want to recognize Andrew Kamunya, who is the corporate training manager at KIPS Technical College. We cannot forget our live audience who are here today. We want to say a big thank you, obviously, to all the members who are here in the particular town hall session. They, of course, comprise of students, professionals. We do have the career alumni of Cradle, as well as students. Thank you so much all for being here with us. And, of course, you'll get to see these amazing faces in just a moment. So, as we get started, we do want to start off with the first part of course, this session by doing our guest introduction very, very quickly. We should start off with Shaheen, who's here. Please go ahead.
Good morning, everyone. It's a pleasure being here.
Yes, Manish.
Good morning, everyone. I'm the founder and CEO of Cradle.
Good morning, everyone. My name is David Ongoya. I'm the country manager for abma Education, one of the awarding institutional examination bodies registered by KNQA and TVETA in Kenya. Thank you very much and feel welcome.
I am Professor Catherine Gashudha, a counseling psychologist and the director of Kenya Institute of Business and Counseling Studies, KIPCO, and an institution that is accredited by TVET CDAC.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Ekra Dungu, Secretary General, Kenya National Association of Private Colleges, and also an educationist and career coach.
All right, thank you all. Ekra, I'm going to start off with you as question one, because obviously you have been with us time and time again in studio, choosing and of course accessing the right career path. For so many people, this is quite confusing, especially for students, and they struggle with this. But the first question that I need to throw to you is, why is it so important to find a career path that is driven by your passion?
Conversation that we have had several times, and we say that for you to pick a career, there are three things that people consider. Number one, of course, everyone goes for profit. That is why when I meet a student and they want to know which course to do, they ask you which one is the highest paying. Then the next thing is passion and purpose, because passion is the fuel that inspires. and drive people to achieve their goals. And there is a saying that says, once you do what you love, you will never have to work in a single day. So that is why passion is very important, because you wake up every day and you're excited to do what you do. And the path of success, remember, is usually zigzag. So it's not an assurance that when you pick this career, it will be all rosy and it will be all fun. So some days, there are days that you'll not feel like you want to jump up or out of bed. But when you're doing what you're passionate about, definitely it will give you the inner drive and the self-drive to be able to move forward.
Okay. I'm going to ask anyone who's on the floor with our roving microphone to pass one to our comedian. I'm talking about Jemo, because we're going to be engaging him in just a few. Jemo, just so you know, there are a lot of young people who are looking at you right now and saying, by the way, I want to be like Jemo. So we want to hear a little bit about your story in just a second. But getting over to you, Professor, if I can engage you, Professor Catherine, the idea of the type of stress and pressure that students especially go through is quite a thing that we have picked up as well as we've had career talks. Tell us a little bit about that, even in terms of some of the sessions that you have with students, particularly when they're trying to make such a big decision in their lives.
Right. When it comes to the choosing of a career, it becomes very stressful for students when they don't have the right information. And at the same time, when a student is not aware of his or her own abilities and talents and motivations, and you're not in tune with what really would make you feel that whatever you're doing is coming from deep inside yourself. And again, when the opportunities are not there for the students, again, the students feel, I am feeling frustrated, I have what it takes, I have the skills that I need, and yet out there within the environment, the opportunities are not there. So that becomes very, very stressful. And something else that becomes very stressful is when there is peer influence, let's do this. And therefore you pick up a career that is not intrinsic, that is not coming from within you, but is coming from pressure from outside sources. So when that happens and you realize when you get your job placement that this is not really what I wanted in my own life, then that becomes very, very stressful.
Okay, okay. Jemo, you're up. How many here follow Jemo on Instagram or on social media? By show of hands. Jemo, are you shocked that your panelists actually follow you?
Should have told me to bring some gifts.
I know, right?
For the followers.
Okay, so let me welcome you right here. You can stand right next to me here at the podium because we really just want to listen to your background story. You know, we see what you have established over the years. Comedy is really your thing. But I think for a lot of young people, especially those who are interested in the arts, is how did you know this was for you, by the way, Ulijuaje?
I would say it was a process that took so many steps because having been brought up in the village, my grandfather used to tell me the only inheritance I can get is education because the land is too small. And so I went to primary school. In high school, I was studying so hard. But then I wanted to become, in primary school, I wanted to become a pilot.
Really? Wow.
Then in high school, I discovered I was so good in accounting. And then I didn't qualify to be admitted for accounting in campus. I got to be admitted for political science and economics. So it changed all the dynamics. So I had then, after campus, I had to work in a bank. I had to work in a media house. I had to work in an advertising firm. And then when I was in the advertising firm is when I discovered, I think in the world, I should be in the world of content creation. Someone actually in this panelist pushed me to leave employment and start doing what I'm doing today.
Wow, amazing.
Manish.
Manisha?
Yes, yes.
All right, so you guys have a special bond right there.
Yes, he told me you need to leave. You need to leave and go do your thing. And so, but you see, I had to work like in 3 jobs to discover like this is the true path that I need to follow.
Right.
Yeah, and so that's why I'm feeling so humbled to be here. and hear how future Kenyan students and even those who are in school can be empowered to make the right career decisions. Yeah.
Fantastic. And so, Jim, of course, we'll continue to engage you about your story. But remember, if you've got any questions, you can start writing them down or just, keep it in mind, because Movie will be walking around, just asking you what you'd like to throw to our panelists. I will engage Manish at this particular point. And Jimo, thank you so much. You can actually have your seat. David Shaheen, I will engage you in just a moment. But Manish, getting over to you and just talking about the importance of career guidance and counseling. This seems to be a very foreign concept, by the way, for a lot of institutions, for a lot of schools out there. Even the setup of Cradle, why do you do what you do? Why was it so important to, to found something like this?
I think I just want to sort of start borrowing from the last discussion on passion driving your career decisions.
Yeah.
I think there are 2-3 fundamental problems, why this problem, exists today. I think a lot of discussion around passion and career really is a midlife crisis conversation today. When you're really young, coming out of campus, you're not really thinking about passion, you're thinking about the courses you want to pursue or the courses you have options to pursue, and that's what really guides your career path, and JMO's story sort of reflects the same. So there are 2-3 fundamental problems here that the education system, I think, overall fails us across the world.
Yeah.
The education system is guided on subjects. You are being taught subjects. I studied a language called Sanskrit. Sanskrit is the oldest language in the world, not spoken anywhere at all, apart from a few priests in India. But I studied Sanskrit for 2 years. I got a 90% score there. But I have absolutely no idea what has that got to do with my passion or my future.
True.
So I think the education system overall fails you because it doesn't encourage you to follow your passion. The first time your daughter bakes a cake in the house, there's a point to encourage her to see if you want to pursue being a baker, going ahead in your life. Number 2 is that we also need to have a lot of people like JMO and yourself, Shiko, talking about, pursuing careers in options like media and entertainment. Becoming a TV host is not a conversation in schools. It's not a conversation in universities. So a lot of really interesting career options like being a chef, being a race car driver, being a TV host, being a comedian, these are not the career options people are discovering. And the third problem, which is I think a very big problem, is that people perceive careers as employment. There is no conversation about careers being entrepreneurs. I mean, JMO is a successful entrepreneur. You can build, my wife is a baker, she's a successful entrepreneur. I think the fact is that people equate careers with jobs, and the jobs are very limited in spaces where skills and passions are involved. So that's where the entire sort of conversation starts. It's only when you reach, my age, 40, you start hitting your midlife crisis and saying, am I really following my passion? Am I really following my dream? Then you quit your job to start. But when you're really young out of campus, you're not really thinking about passion at all. And I think that's a conversation that needs to start at the school system. We need people like you, Shiko, people like JMO to mentor the youth in terms of showing them where the career opportunities in the future are going to come from.
Okay. All right, David, thank you for your patience. First of all, we'd actually like to understand, what does abma Education UK do? How does it also assist students? And perhaps as you're answering that, you can tell us a little bit more about what international qualifications really are.
Thank you very much, Shiko. abma Education is one of the examination bodies in Kenya, or awarding bodies. We are registered by KNQA and TVETA to offer professional programs. The difference between an academic program and a professional program prepares you for work. And whether you are an entrepreneur, whether you are a comedian, you need to act professionally, you need to think professionally, and that is one of the difference that abma does in Kenya. And number 2, abma is an international qualification. What this means is that we operate in more than 5 continents of the world. We are in Africa, we are in Europe, we are in Asia, South America, North America, and everywhere. And the government and Ministry of Education in these countries we operate in has endorsed our content as a quality and fit for what employer want. I usually follow JMO on his Facebook page, and you can see the quality of the videos they do, and one of the ways you can validate this is the number of views he gets, and from quality he understands his audience, and that is what abma is all about. We understand the customer, who is the student. We understand the colleges we work with. We understand what the government want, and we also understand what the people want. For example, in Kenya we have the Vision 2030, and one of the key highlights of Vision 2030 was to prepare a quality workforce, be it entrepreneurs, investors, and everyone who is involved in achievement of Vision 2030. And that is one of the reasons why we are the first examination body, not just a foreign one, but in Kenya, that was registered by KNQA and TVETA to offer our programs in Kenya. Thank you very much.
Okay. Let me ask for the roving microphone to return back to the floor so that we can actually engage Andrew Kamunya in just a second. He's right at the front there. So, Andrew, as you're getting ready to obviously engage us on some of the questions that we have for you as the corporate training manager at KIPS Technical College, Shaheen, you will be surprised. The kind of feedback that we had last time you were on the show, simply because of this thing known as an aptitude test. A lot of young people have never heard of that, and they say, what is that? You know, why is it so essential when it comes to giving students a sense of direction? You can even start by telling us, what is it?
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's very good that one of our aims is to tell people and inform them about what a psychometric assessment is all about. We don't call it a test simply because when we call it a test, many students find it a very daunting task. It seems like an exam. So basically an assessment, we call it the match career assessment at Cradle, is an idea, getting an idea on what your strengths and weaknesses are. And basically, it's not a test or an exam. That is the first thing. The second piece of information that I would really like Kenyans and all schools to sensitize everyone to it is the fact that it is absolutely essential, and it's linked to what our previous speakers have been talking about: passion, motivation. It's one of the ways in which you can identify what your motivators are, what you're passionate about. It is an assessment on your aptitude. Now, aptitude is not just cognitive aptitude. It's not academic based in school. And most of the career decisions based in school by school students are based on what they see academically. But there's lots out there that is not being assessed, and that is your interest, the skills you have, and aptitude itself has various ways of showing up. There is reasoning ability, there is accuracy, there is numerical skills, there is spatial awareness, all right? And so if you want to be an engineer, you need to have numerical skills, you need to have that spatial idea. And therefore, there is a number of indicators that actually focus you on what your real strengths are, and most importantly, what kind of personality you have. And in school, again, teachers or counselors for that matter, they're not trained career counselors, do not have an idea on looking at what these traits that you have. Are you a realistic person? We use the Holland's Code in the assessment, which actually tells you, are you investigative? Are you going to be a researcher? Are you artistic? Like Manish was saying, do you have the practical skills? Is it a baker? Yeah. Are you interested in hotel management? So then all these assessments culminate in identifying 3 top careers that are suited to your overall personality and to your ability. Okay. And I think it's really very important.
Thank you so much for that, Shaheen. Well said. Andrew Kamunya, welcome yet again to the program.
Thank you, Shiko.
And also a big thank you to KIPS Technical College for making an appearance as well.
Thank you.
I believe that every single day, obviously, you're engaging with young minds who are students enrolled at KIPS. But there seem to be some type of gaps in terms of trying to choose a career. What have you really identified seems to be the problem when students have to make this decision from your observation?
Okay, thank you, Shiko. Many a times, young people fail to make a self-assessment on their strength, on that career path that will give them opportunities to grow and continue learning, get more experiences, and maximize on opportunities. Again, we have a very clear difference between a profession and a career. Because today I've been listening to my fellow panelists, that a profession is that area, is that line or area which you got formal training in to be in a particular field. a career is that line that will give you that lifelong experience and a daily livelihood. I'll use some examples. One may have trained as a lawyer. Okay, that is your profession, but ended up becoming a pastor. So that is your career, right? Or one may have trained as a doctor, that is your profession, then ended up becoming a footballer. So that is your career. Now, a career requires training for you to continue perfecting and upgrading yourself. You require a mentor in that field. For instance, we've had Jemo, one of the comedians here. I'm sure he has interacted with other more experienced comedians just to continue getting upgraded and fine-tuned in that field. Finally, and this is not all, we have this mentality that we'll always be in the mainstream careers. Okay, I want to become a doctor, I want to become a lawyer, I want to become an engineer, whereas there are non-mainstream careers. For instance, you may have done an ICT qualification, but end up becoming a web developer, all right? Or an online influencer, all right? Or you may choose to become a virtual marketer. That line that will, of operation that will give you a daily livelihood. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you so much. You can actually have your seat. Thank you so much, Andrew, for that. We want to also engage our viewers back at home who are watching us, obviously, through K24 this morning. Dear viewer, remember, we are going to be looking out for you via our social media platforms. Our team is working hard on, of course, collecting some of the questions that you may have for our panelists. But remember, the WhatsApp number is at the bottom of your screen, as well as that handle being at K24 TV. Speaking about obviously recognizing some of our special guests before we go to a short commercial break, and I'll ask my director Abu to let me know, I would just by a show of hands like to acknowledge obviously the individuals who we do have here on our list. Feel free to actually stand up and wave at the crowd if you will. Mercy Igoki is a career coach and of course from Optimal Solutions. She's also an author of Shaping the Generations. Mercy, if you're here with us, hello. Karibu sana. Mary Thuo is a parent and the CEO of Cityscape Trend Services. Welcome. We also do have Patricia Onsando, who is also a parent and the CEO of Silverback Travel. Welcome to the show. And then Rogers Odima is the CEO of Forum. Rogers, if you're here with us, thank you so much for being with us. Mrs. Margaret Waithaka is the board chair of Career Guidance Institute. If you're here with us, Miss Margaret, asante sana pia. Anthony Mushiri is also a student from Riara University. Anthony, if you're here, please say hello. Anthony has a very unique story, and he will be sharing his career dilemmas with us and just really what he had to go through before actually landing on that decision. And so Anthony will be hearing from you in just a few. Thank you so much. Also, Dr. Claire Nyambati, if you're in the house, please say hello. All right. Hi, how are you? And of course, to many other esteemed guests, asante sana for joining us. And so as we continue, and as my director gives me direction about that commercial break, Manish, let's get back to you just for a second as we get direction from our director, okay? And so what you have obviously managed to establish with Cradle, obviously very, very new, still in the market. In fact, we don't know if the uptake will continue to be there. Hopefully it will be for students to see, and even professionals to actually understand, if I want to make the career switch, why is Cradle the place to be? But how are you able to especially help students with that complex process of making applications to colleges and universities? It almost feels like there's an information overload when I'm trying to decide, do I go to this university? Do I go to a TVET institution? So how does Cradle more or less assist students with that application process?
Thanks for the question, Shiko. So I think the first thing that we're trying to change at Cradle is that the decisions in terms of what university you want to go to should ideally be guided by your career path or career decision. So make career outcomes at the starting point of what university or course you want to pursue, because a lot of decisions today when it comes to going to university is basically based on your grades. So your grades essentially today determine what going to university and what kind of course. I mean, we heard Jamer's story as well. So what the fundamental thing that we're trying to change at Cradle is that first take a career assessment that Shaheen talked about, understand your career motivators, understand your personality and aptitudes, and use that to make a decision in terms of what are your ideal career paths, basis which you choose, what are the kind of courses you should be able to pursue. And then what we've done at Cradle is that we've been able to accumulate courses and colleges and universities, not just across Kenya, but across Africa and across the world. So on our platform, if you want to, for example, pursue a computer science course, and that's the ideal career path for you, you'll find hundreds, I think we have about 356 odd computer science courses, which start from certification courses to diploma courses to degree courses. So one of the things we're trying to say is that higher education need not be a university degree. It could actually be a vocational skill. It could actually be a diploma course. It could actually be a certificate course for you. So when you come to our platform, you're able to compare courses across multiple universities from UK, from Spain, from US, from Canada, from Australia, from Kenya, from other parts of Africa, and then make a very informed decision of what kind of university you want to go to. So now, if you remove Cradle from the equation, what will you have to do? You will have to rely on your cousins or your friends and families to guide you what kind of college you can go to. So you are typically left with 2 or 3 options. Or you'll probably go to the college website or different colleges and try and understand what do they have to offer and then compare those options. The fact is that today we are looking at a consumer economy where you have the option, where you have the power to choose and decide for yourself what university you want to go to. You don't have to let anyone else decide for you what college can you go to. So you have the option, and we are trying to make this platform which is democratizing access to quality higher education, not just across Africa, but across the world.
Well, if you haven't started engaging us, please do so. We want to take a short commercial break, and when we get back, we'll start sampling your text messages. Remember, this is a special coverage on Career Talks this morning on K24. Asante sana, obviously, for what I can already see streaming in on our social media platforms. We do have viewers definitely enjoying the program so far. Let's take that short commercial break. We'll be back with more on K24.